No, that's actually what it's referred to as. I just didn't want to write the words child breaker onto my PDF file here and have that be a document on my computer. So I wrote reverse pinata. Yvette, feel free to say hello if you'd like.
Oh, am I allowed to speak now?
Yvette, connect. Yvette,
Yeah.
connect. So now we can talk about this boy, SCP-956, reverse pinata.
The Uno reverse pinata.
Yes. SCP-956, object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-956 is to be kept at the approximate center of 18 by 18 by 4 meter concrete room at all times. The door is to be locked with an armed guard posted to prevent unauthorized access. Entrance by research personnel into the room is only permitted once SCP-956 has been entered a dormant state. Permission to bring a subject into the room must be cleared by O5 approval to decrease the occurrence of SCP-956-1 as well as occurrences. Unless for testing, individuals fulfilling SCP-956's activation requirement are not to be brought within 200 meters of SCP-956's containment area. Surveillance is to be maintained through security footage at all times. Instances of SCP-956-1 are to be kept in a neighboring room and are to be maintained at a temperature of -4 degrees Celsius in order to prevent melting or destruction. Any use of SCP-956-1 is to be authorized by at least one member of O5 Council and to be carried out in a room identical to SCP-956's containment chamber. Any excess of SCP-956-1 created by tests with SCP-956 are to be incinerated unless authorized personnel with security clearance of 4 or higher, as are any extraneous instances of SCP-956. So I just said a whole load of big word salad, and you're just looking at this fucking pinata over here. SCP-956 before containment after being separated from the piles of SCP-956-1 and data redacted. So, description. SCP-956 appears to be a common pinata, resembling an unknown quadruped. Tests have revealed that, although superficially similar to paper mache, 956 is constructed of various amounts of glue, sugar, an unidentified fur, and human tissue. 956 has also shown to be highly resilient to any sort of bludgeoning damage, large amounts of crushing force showing no damage to its structural integrity, though the use of gunfire, as well as heat and flame, have shown to be effective. By default, 956 remains in a passive state. It shows no signs of locomotion or intelligence, and displays no hostility. As long as the item's activation and requirement is not met, the item will remain in this state indefinitely. Redacted. And that information has been excised. See Addendum 956-A. 956 enters its active state when a human under the age of 12 enters within meters of it, which is approximately 2 seconds after entering the active zone. The child becomes unable to move, holding any stance that they had at the time. The victim is incapable of motion or speech, although it remains alive, and its rapidly moving eyes suggest that it retains awareness. 956 moves towards the victim and bludgeons him or her until the torso ruptures. Upon breach, the victim's body discharges a large pile of unmarked candy, ranging from to pieces. Instances of this candy are designated as SCP-956-1. 956 repeats this for any other immobilized victims before returning to a docile state. So, as you can now see, this is SCP-956 Reverse Pinata, the Child Breaker.
What?
No, that's actually what it's referred to as. I just didn't want to write the words child breaker on my PDF file here and have that be a document on my computer. So I wrote reverse pinata because it is actually referred to as the child breaker. And I don't want to talk to Chris Hansen anytime soon.
Yikes.
Unless it's about Onision.
Fair enough.
Unless it's about what?
Onision.
Ah.
Yes. Earlier in the stream, I read out the transcript of Onision's freakout video, which most can be remembered to as the kombucha rant.
Oh my god, I can't believe I missed that.
Yes, you
I
missed that.
fucking-
You will see it. You will be able to hear that sometime tomorrow, I guess.
I gotta go
however
back
long
and
it
watch
takes
the
you to-
stream.
Yeah, however long it takes for you to watch back the entire stream. Alright, so a victim can be removed from 956's activation range if retrieved promptly. Upon moving the victim meters away from it, 956 returns to its passive state. The victim, however, shows no signs of recovering from its immobilized state and appears to remain in such a state indefinitely. Autopsies of unbroken victims show that their body had severely dehydrated, leaving them brittle. Autopsies also reveal that pieces of SCP-956-1 had begun to grow out of the victim's organs, using the tissue as a component. The amount of 956-1 appears to be directly correlated to time spent in 956's activation radius. 956-1's effects vary depending upon the age of the human consuming them. Humans at the age of 12 or older go into a seizure within minutes of consumption, with a percent possibility of cardiac arrest. There is an approximately percent chance of survival for such subjects. Non-human animals suffer similar effects, regardless of age. Children under the age of 12 undergo a different effect. They first enter a stage similar to a state of the immobilized victims of 956, although they assume a standing stance with their arms resting in front of them. Their bodies then, data redacted. The process takes minutes to complete. Upon completion, the victim has transformed into another instance of 956. These copies behave identically to 956. There is a 0% chance of survival for the victim. The child breaker. Addendum 956-A. This is in reference to the sentence here that was crossed out. As long as this item's activation requirement is not met, the item will remain in this state indefinitely. So why was this crossed out? Well, we have to look at Addendum 956-A. 956 has recently begun to show locomotion outside of testing. Can you imagine a pinata moving?
Oh, jeez.
Pinata Island. Viva Pinata all over.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Viva Pinata. Dun, dun, dun. Worlds of fun. That's all I remember from the theme song.
What a fun. Your child will die.
Oh no.
Breaker. It began to wander around its containment, tracing the perimeter of the room. It did this for about an hour before staring at a spot on the wall. Review of footage shows that it faced this wall after deactivating during previous tests. Security confirmed that 956 is facing directly towards an elementary school. That school is kilometers away. Reclassification to Euclid status requested. Dr. Nipsh. Reclassification to Euclid granted. It is If its effects appear to reach beyond its containment, it is to be transferred to sites which should be kept as far enough away from potential victims. Retrieve any paralyzed victims or SCP-956-1 and administer Class A amnestics to witnesses and family. We don't need any more of these things around. 05 redacted.
Well then.
SCP-956, the Childbreaker, Object Class, Euclid.
Yeah, it doesn't help that this thing looks absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, it's.
I
Ugh.
don't want to imagine, like, when it said it was staring at a wall, I was thinking it was going to stare at a camera.
Oh god.
Just directly at the camera.
But
really
no,
close to it.
It stares at the nearest elementary school.
That's honestly a lot more frightening.
Yeah.
Object
Okay.
Class,
Time to
Euclid.
get the blowtorch.
Hans, get the Flammenwerfen.
Oof.
All right. And you'll be able to see, and be sure to read back on the on the Onision, the Onision dramatic reading. It will. I also recorded it, so I will be
Oh,
sure
hell
to
yeah.
post that as its own separate video at a later date.